Will he have the votes then, given this CBO score?
To get it through the House. He may. He's to hold together this very fragile and narrow majority that he has, which we have seen can splinter at a moment's notice and often in unpredictable ways. The real issue for him, though, is getting it through the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said it is dead on arrival due to these IRS cuts that he has proposed, which we're now seeing from the CBO, which is important to stress that the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, is a nonpartisan organization that will actually cost money in the long run. And then you have the veto threat that President Biden has also waged on this bill.
That's really important to add, and the White House has made that clear should it reach his desk, but nobody thinks it will, Annmarie. We just know where the White House is here. So how much of this, and I think I know your answer, is politics versus math? You just heard from the Speaker. He seems to think this cuts spending somehow. But this doesn't tell a very good story when it comes to deficits.
Sure. So this money, let's go back a little bit. This additional money for the IRS was pushed by Democrats last year to increase IRS operations, investigations, essentially to allow them to claw back money that people have not claimed. And Republicans have long said this weaponizes the IRS, and this is going to target middle-class Americans who file their tax returns. And what Democrats have said all along is, no, this is actually intended to save money by ensuring that everything is claimed and tying everything up in a neat bow, in allowing the IRS to basically enforce itself. The CBO estimate is essentially math, as you said, and not politics, but it does help augment the Democrats' arguments.
But what's better politics than, bad-mouthing the IRS? It's an easy target. I don't know if you saw this, Annmarie. The IRS commissioner, Daniel Werfel, says the offsets would end up, in fact, costing $90 billion due to less scrutiny on tax evasion of the wealthiest Americans.
Right, because the IRS is supposed to be revenue generating.
That's the idea.
And to your point yesterday, Joe, you think about the IRS, the fact is it is very backwards. They don't have the latest technology, and that's what a lot of this money would be used for. Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma discussed Speaker Johnson's bill with us yesterday on Balance of Power.
Speaker Johnson has to get it past the House, and I support whatever he tries to do. I'd rather see the two combined. We're only as good as our word. And America said we're going to be there for Israel. America said we're going to be there for Ukraine, and therefore we need to be there for them both. However, if Speaker Johnson can only get Israel package done and he needs to go at Ukraine differently, then, whatever he can get done, that's his chamber. He's got to have the runway to do what he can.
Megan, the next question is, even if he can pass standalone Israel bill, you could see right there, even from Markwayne Mullin, someone who has a good relationship with Speaker Johnson, the Senate wants to see more. They want to see Ukraine aid. So what becomes of this bill?
They want to see Ukraine aid. They want to see Taiwan aid. There's a lot that they want piled in this, and they do not want these IRS cuts, or at least Senate Democrats do not. And you need 60 votes to get anything through the Senate. So you're not even just talking about the Senate majority, the Democrats over there, but there are several hawkish Republicans, including Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who really support this Ukraine aid. He's, in fact, one of the most fervent supporters of this Ukraine aid in all of Washington. So I don't see this getting anywhere in the Senate.
Interesting. We heard he met with Republican senators today. The new speaker did. Lindsey Graham said he's the man for the moment coming out, and that's the biggest Ukraine hawk, I think, that you're going to find in the Senate, which is interesting. We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, it's interesting because potentially also he's augmenting his tone depending on the audience. So he's doing a town hall this evening with Sean Hannity. It'll be interesting what he says there when a bunch of members are in the audience from centrists and also towards more the hard right.
The other big story we're balancing today, of course, brings us back to the economy, and that's the Federal Reserve. Yep. We had special coverage just a couple of hours ago, heard from the Fed chair, Jay Powell, speaking to reporters earlier today. Here he is.
Global geopolitical tensions are certainly elevated. And that goes for the war in Ukraine. It goes for the war between Israel and Hamas. We're monitoring that. Our job is to monitor those things for their economic implications. Another one is the possibility of government shutdown. We don't know about that one. So there's plenty of risk out there.
Geopolitics, shutdown politics. Michael McKee, it's great to have you at the table. Of course, Fed Day means that Michael McKee is in town. The headline on the terminal says it all. Yield rise reduces need to hike, but the door is still open. How uncertain are things now? You started to probe the Fed chair on the dot plot. You didn't get much of an answer today.
Well, they're very uncertain because the Fed had sort of relied on the market's understanding where they're going. And now they're a little bit unmoored. Basically, Powell left them with the message that the Fed doesn't know, meeting to meeting, what it's going to do. It thinks it's done. It could raise rates again. It's probably done, but maybe it needs to raise rates again. And so there's going to be this uncertainty that goes through everything that they do and every data point that comes in, because nobody's going to be able to say, well, the Fed is going to do this or that going forward. It's kind of hard to plan.
Well, Joe mentioned your question, and Jay Powell did seem quite uncertain.
He's still working on it.
Yeah, he's still working on an answer and seemed quite uncertain when our very own Michael McKee probed him. Take a listen.
I don't know that I want to just accept anybody's characterization of it. I'll tell you how we're doing this. So we're going meeting by meeting. We're asking ourselves whether we've achieved a stance of policy that is sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to 2% over time. That's the question we're asking. We're looking at the full range of economic data.
So every meeting is a live meeting.
Every meeting's a live meeting. They had, of course, in the dot plot, suggested one more move before the end of the year, and that's it's not a forecast. We've gone through that many times, but that's the way Wall Street takes it and is looking at it. And now, forget the end of the year. It could be one more move. It could be more moves if they need to raise rates more. There's really no way to put it into any kind of specific formula at this point.
So what are you watching? What's the next data point or the next stop on the road that's going to make a difference?
Well, of course, we're all going to be up at 8:30 Friday morning Eastern time for the jobs report, and we'll be watching that. Then we get another CPI report coming up around the 14th of the month, and then at the end of the month, the PCE inflation numbers. So there'll be a number of the data points the Fed is looking at. But remember, we've had strong job growth. We've had rising inflation a little bit. Wages are rising. Spending is very strong. And yet the Fed paused. So do the data points really tell you anything about what the Fed is going to do? It's the question I asked him, they kind of threw him. I said, have you moved now to just subjective decision-making on the day of the meeting instead of having some kind of data point of objectivity about what you're looking for?
And it sounds like they did.
Sounds like you got close to the truth there, yeah.
It's great that we have both of you here because actually these two stories are very much so connected. House Republicans are concerned about rising deficit. And when you look at the CBO, they say projected that interest would cost more than $10 trillion, Mike, over the next decade and exceed the defense budget by 2027. And with these supplementals, it's aid to national security partners.
Well, it's going to be a problem. We don't know when it exactly is going to be a problem. If we keep growing at 4.9% as we did last quarter, it wouldn't be a problem, which we're not going to do. So there is a problem out there.
At some point, the top line of our budget will be paying our interest.
Part of the problem, and this is always the Washington story, is that it's always at some point. And something comes along and changes the dynamic. Social Security has almost gone bankrupt a number of times, and then it doesn't. So there's not always a lot of pressure on Congress to do something. Yeah. I don't think Congress is going to solve the problem of the deficit. I mean, it may stop adding as much to it, but we're not going to see interest rates at 5.25%, 5.5% for the 10 years that you're talking about, Annmarie. They will come down, not as far as they would have in the past, but they will come down, and that'll ease some of the burden.